This channel is designed for adults viewing only, and certain videos will contain rated M for mature video games, featuring realistic violence, gore and suggestive themes. If you are not an adult, do not view the content on this channel.
Sit back and relax. It's time to take a wild trip to the past. Get ready for another exciting episode of Memory Lane.
That table could only mean one thing. We'll be showing off, finally, the Nintendo 64 collection that I acquired over the years. Now let's start off with the console. Now that console right there is a custom painted N64, complete with a cat here. Don't know how that got there. As you already know, I have cat games on my YouTube channel, and they probably snuck into the studio and they started playing cat games. And yeah, there we go. We have a custom painted N64 console, and that's a really excuse me, a really interesting N64 console. I actually custom painted it myself. I just wanted to basically do something different. And this console has the modification side here where you can play Japanese and American games. So I chose to make it look a little bit different. And it's pretty cool, as you can see here. It has silver buttons. The silver that goes around here. It's not perfect, as you can see. I'm not exactly perfect when it comes to painting things like that. There's like a little trip that tried right there. And there might be a little chip right there. But it has that nice granite look to it. So this has that nice shiny granite look to it. And I did this with regular spray paint. And this has just a regular red going around it, and the flaps are nice and red, which I think is pretty cool. And the bottom is also red. Oh yeah, these are silver as well. So that's something pretty cool that I did a while ago. I even managed to get the sticker to stay on here, and that sticker as well. So yeah, that's the console that I currently have. Back in the day, of course, I had a regular standard dark gray, black looking N64 console. I used to play the crap out of that. Battle Tanks, Global Assault, No Mercy, WCW Revenge, all those games. If you get a nice up close look, you can see the texture of the paint that I put on. I gave it that nice granite look to it. And I'm not exactly sure. See, when I was painting this console, I wasn't really... I pretty much just did this off the top of my head. I had an idea that I wanted it to be red and black, but somehow I combined two different spray paints together, and I got it to give it that granite look. So I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I just went along with it. And basically what gave it the granite look was this silver spray paint right here on the bottom. And I had a black one on top, so I combined them both together, and that's basically what you see here. And I was not originally intending to have that, but it looked so cool that I just did it. So let's get to the games. Okay, so first off, I do have an EverDrive cartridge for games that I don't own, or for ROM hacks and stuff like that. So yeah, I do play ROMs on my N64 still. And I guess this one you can do PAL or North America region. So that I keep next to the N64, is there's a lot of crazy stuff you can play on that, 007 Nightfire, not Nightfire, 007 GoldenEye ROM hacks featuring Super Mario running around shooting people. That's pretty crazy, but that does exist. Alright, let's look at some cartridges here. Now the first thing you're going to notice is I keep my cartridges inside cases like this, and I have custom printed end labels. Now each end label I printed out of my own personal printer. Alright, let's see if I can adjust this camera here. This is going to be a little difficult here. We have, what's this? Aero gauge. It's like one of those F-Zero type games or Wipeout. We got the Armorines, nice black cartridge. One thing that was always interesting about the N64 is some of the games had different colored cartridges. Like I remember the 3DO Army style games or the Battle Tanks games came on green cartridges, so it was pretty cool. Alright, we do have a copy of Castlevania. And one thing that you'll probably notice, and there's the end label that I created. Command and Conquer. So one thing you're going to notice about my collection is some of them are half... My collection is like half Japanese and half American. Some games are just a lot more affordable to buy from Japan. We have a Duke Nukem 64. This one I got, it was probably September or August of 2019 in Manhattan, New York, downtown New York City. There's a game shop. Now, it was right before the COVID hit, a couple months before that happened, and I went to a couple of game shops down there, and these two Duke Nukem games I picked up from down there in New York City. I believe it's called J&L Gaming or something like that. And they had like just about everything. And here we have a fighting game. And this is a Japanese game right here. You can see it does not have the American rating on it. And I believe that there is an American version of this game, but I just happened to get hold of the Japanese copy. And the label art looks pretty cool. And there's the end label. Pretty cool stuff. Alright, so now we're getting into, just to give you an idea of how these things look on my shelf. These are my N64 games with the end labels. And that's the reason why I put end labels on those, so they can fit more of them on the shelf. So this is basically what they look like right here. With the end labels. Alright, so we're going to try to make this as easy as possible. We have the Army Man Sarge's Hero. Army Man Air Combat. And here's a nice obscure rare find right here. This is the first version of Animal Crossing. This is an authentic copy of what is known as Animal Forest. And it's literally the same game on the GameCube. It's Animal Crossing. That's basically exactly what it is. Let's take a closer look at the label art. It's known as Animal Forest. Alright, here we go with some more games right here. We have a game known as Battlezone, and once again it has a black cartridge. And you can see the green cartridge right there. There's so many different colored cartridges. Got the Beetle Adventures Racing, which is really, really good. That's actually one of the best racers on the N64. California Speed. This might be a favorite for some people that love racing games. Alright, let's back that camera up a little bit. This is the Chameleon Twist. You might be familiar with that game. It's actually pretty cool. Alright, let's move on to what we have here. We have a copy of Diddy Kong Racing for the N64, and you may notice that this is a Japanese copy, but it plays exactly the same. We have Doom 64. And Doom 64 is pretty cool. We have a Glover. Interesting platformer. And we have this game right here. It's in Japanese, but on the side, it's known as Dual Heroes. So I make sure I write the English translation on the side so I know what it is. It's kind of hard for me to tell, like, what the hell is what. We have Destruction Derby 64. We have a Japanese copy of Donkey Kong 64. We have an American copy of Gauntlet Legends. It's like a nice clean cartridge too. Not too scratched up, beat up, or anything. And then we have F-Zero X. We have Excite Bike for the Nintendo 64. Look at that. Pretty cool game. Alright, what do we got here? We got more N64 games. And you see that they're piling up. We have 1080. 1080 is a really fun game right there. That game is pretty cool. And we have this really obscure sumo wrestling game. It's known as 64 Uzumu 2. Let me see if you can see that correctly. There it is. And then we have Army Men's Sergeant's Heroes Part 2. Then we have a Japanese copy of Blastozers. Alright, what else do we have here? We have plenty of stuff. We have Battle Tanks for the N64. Battle Tanks Global Assault. One of my all-time favorite N64 games. This game is really fun to play 4 players. Really fun. And we have Bomberman. Which bomber is Baku Bomberman. And then we have Baku Bomberman Part 2. Those are Japanese games. And then we also have another couple of Japanese games right here. We have Banjo-Kazooie, a Japanese copy. And we have Banjo-Kazooie Part 2, a Japanese copy. And look at all that N64 crazy looking stuff right there. Look at that. That's a skyscraper of N64 cartridges. And we still have more coming right here. Custom Robo V2. And then we have Custom Robo, regular Custom Robo, I guess. Just no numbers after that. We've got Coral Q64. I believe that's how that's pronounced. It's a racing game. And then we have one of the best ever games ever, Cruisin' USA. This game's awesome. Alright, then we have this Gambar Nippon Olympics 2000. Got the Olympics game right here. I do enjoy certain sports games, but not all of them. And then we have a Japanese copy of 007 GoldenEye. Alright, we're going to have to clear the table. I mean, that's a lot of N64 cartridges right there. Alright, let's stay tuned. We're going to put these back on the shelf, and then we're going to show you the next batch of N64 games. Alright, here we are, we're back. And we're going to be showing off the next portion of the shelf. And there is a few games that I haven't got a chance to put inside my normal protective cases with the Unlabels. Those would be the Power Ranger game, as you can see right here. Which I have no idea whether this is a good or bad game or not, but I did see that there is a really, really bad Power Ranger game on N64, and this might be it. So we'll put that one over there. And then we have this one right here, the 007 Roll This Not Enough. And that's a blue cartridge. And then we have the NBA Hang Time. And you see there is an end label for that. Mission Impossible. We have this Japanese Mickey Mouse game right here. It's known as Mickey's Speedway USA. There was obviously an American copy of that game. Mario 64. This is an American copy. Yeah, I'm pretty much done collecting N64 games for a little while because I have so many N64 games. See Jet Force Gemini. We have a Kirby 64. This is Mario Party. It's an actual Japanese copy of Mario Party. A Japanese copy of Mario Tennis. These Japanese copies are actually much more affordable. And they're pretty easy to play. There's no really big issue playing these things. We have Mario Party 2 and 3. You can see the colors of the cartridges are pretty different. And what else do we have here? We have Mario Golf. So I believe I might have all the Mario games. I might be missing a couple, I'm not sure. Got Monster Truck Madness 64. Which was originally, that was a Windows game. I remember playing that on the Windows 98 machine back in the day. And for whatever reason, it got ported to the N64, which is interesting. And it has even more stuff in the game. And then you have this MRC game, which is Multi Racing Championship. That's what that stands for. And the only reason why I know that is I put that sticker on the side. Alright, let's grab some more stuff here. And for all the Pokemon fans out there, we got Pokemon Snap. There is a new Pokemon Snap coming out soon on the Nintendo Switch. Well, that is the original Pokemon Snap. And here we have the original Pokemon Stadium. And that is a classic. And those are American copies right there. And here we have a Japanese copy of Pokemon Stadium 2. We got the end label. And here is a really, really weird Pokemon Stadium game that not too many people know about. But this is known as Pokemon Stadium Silver and Gold. And we never got this over in America. So this is basically a third Pokemon Stadium game. That was on the N64, and it has a holographic looking label, as you can see right there. Gold and silver. We got Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. We have a Super Mario 64. This is an American copy. And the Unlabels over on this side. Alright, so this is known as Super Mario 64 Shendu Edition. This is a improvised, better version of Mario 64 in Japan, with better frame rate. It might have slightly better textures in certain areas. But for the most part, it's the frame rate. It just runs better. This is definitely what most speedrunners prefer when they play this Mario 64 game. This is like the best copy of Mario 64. That Japanese is a second version of it in Japan. So it's actually better than the one that we have over here in America. And we have Hexen, a classic first-person shooter. We have a game known as Human Grand Prix. It's a racing game. And then we have this one right here. This is Last Legion UX. And I believe this might be a fighting game or something. I kind of forgot what that is, but I think it is a fighting game. And here we have another Olympic game. This is known as the Hyper Olympics in Nagano 98. I'll put that back there. And of course we have one of these crazy holographic Zelda cartridges. Majora's Mask. You move it back and forth, you can see it's holographic. And then of course we have Ocarina of Time right there. And those are American copies, they tend to go for more money. And then we have a gold cartridge of Ocarina of Time, and I'm not sure if there's any really big difference between the gray cartridge or the gold cartridge in terms of content. I believe they're the same exact game, but two different colored cartridges. And here we have another Midway Arcade Racer Off-Road Challenge. Usually when you think of Midway Arcade Racers, you don't really hear about this one too much. We'll definitely check that out sometime. And here we have one called Knife Edge Nose Gunner. And again, I don't know too much about that game. Alright, we have one game right here you might be familiar with. If you can take a guess what that game is. Right there, this is a Japanese, actually it says it right there, it says Perfect Dark. I completely did not see that. This is a Japanese copy of Perfect Dark. And one day we will take a look at that. And we have Pilot Wings 64. Now, Pilot Wings on the Super Nintendo was really, really fun. So why not get Pilot Wings on the N64 and have even more fun playing Pilot Wings on the N64? Well, there it is. Alright, here we have a red cartridge. A uniquely colored cartridge right here. It's Rocket Robot on Wheels. Has some really crazy looking cartridges, and then we have Shin Nippon Pro Wrestling Token Road 2. So if you like those AKI wrestling games, the WWF Revenge or No Mercy, well, here you go. We have a Japanese wrestling game that uses the same exact engine. And this is something that we should definitely play sooner than later. I love playing wrestling games, and I'll definitely check that out. I think that might be a Japanese copy of Revenge or WrestleMania 2000. Alright, we have Star Soldier, Vanishing Earth on the N64. And then we have a Japanese copy of Super Smash Brothers. I played this many times. It's identical to the American copy and completely playable. Really fun. And then we have Star Fox 64, a Japanese copy, as you can see there. Pretty fun. I love the intro on that game. Alright, let's pause the video for a second and clear the table off. Alright, we are back. Got the table cleared off. I'm going to be showing off some more N64 games. The ones that we have here. Let's see what we have here. We have Revolt. That is a pretty cool artsy game. In this game, you can go into the option menu and put the resolution up higher. We have Roadster. We have Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six on the N64. A bit of an obscure game. Most people that play Rainbow Six probably would not go for the N64 copy of it. It's really different. But I just happen to own it. And then we have Top Gear Overdrive. And I always like the label art on this game. Just look at that. With the car with the teeth. That is so cool. And then we have Quest 64. It's a nice adventure RPG type thing, I think. And we have the Virtual Pro Wrestling 64, another wrestling game right here. A Japanese wrestling game. And don't expect me to tell you what the name of this game is, because even when I translated it, I'm going to show you what it is right here. But I cannot pronounce that, so sometimes I have a hard time pronouncing English. I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce Japanese. We got Top Gear Rally. It's another Midway arcade-style racing game. It's pretty cool. And you can't have an N64 collection without having Turok. Turok is a pretty awesome shooter. And then we have this mysterious game right here known as Shadow Man. And I really don't know whether this game is good or bad. I never actually played it. And then we do have an American rare copy of Resident Evil 2. And I'm pretty sure I paid an arm and a leg for that game. Like, that game is actually pretty expensive, I think. The Japanese copy, the Dreamcast copy is even more expensive. We have a WCW Revenge with Bill Goldberg, who is actually still wrestling for some reason on WWE. It would be nice if he went to AEW instead. And we have a WCW Nitro. Came straight from the video store right there. Video update. And that is their address over in Pennsylvania. So this game made it all the way to New York. Here we have WCW vs. NWO World Tour. It's basically the game that started it all when it came to like awesome wrestling games on the N64. This game was great. And then of course we have No Mercy. This is like the granddaddy of them all. The one wrestling game that pretty much steals the show. I prefer Revenge over No Mercy, but No Mercy is definitely like the most popular. And speaking of Revenge, here we have it. We have one of my all-time favorite N64 wrestling games of all time, WWNWO Revenge. You have Hogan, Kevin Nash, you have Raven, and you have Bill Goldberg. Really, really awesome label art right there. That's pretty cool. And then you have WrestleMania 2000. Now this game was actually pretty cool. Well, it was not bad at all. It was pretty fun. But I definitely preferred Revenge, though. I thought Revenge was definitely like really, really awesome. And then you have Warzone. And speaking of Warzone, I do remember walking into a Funkoland back in like 97 or 98, whenever this game came out. And they were demoing the N64 version of this game on a little 13-inch TV, CRT. And I could not believe how good the graphics looked. And it's like, oh my god, this looks amazing. Eventually I got the PlayStation copy of the game, and I was still pretty happy with it. It was pretty fun. And that was before I owned the N64. When I saw it, I was like, oh wow, that is amazing. Alright, we have Yoshi's Story. And yeah, that's the Unlabel. Alright, we're almost down to the last ones we have here. Let's see what we have. We have this racing game right here, this futuristic racing game. XG2, Extreme XG2, something like that. It's like one of those Wipeout type things. We got Twisted Edge, Extreme Snowboarding by Midway. I don't think I've ever played this one, but I just happened to come across it. And here we have Tony Hawk Pro Skater. And it's on a blue cartridge. Pretty interesting. And we have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2 on a yellow cartridge. Again, pretty interesting. Now, I don't have Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3. That game is actually pretty expensive to get on the N64. But here, we have a black cartridge of Turok 2. And this game is really, really awesome. One of my favorite split-screen games. And what else do we have here? We have Rush 2 Extreme Racing USA. Oh yeah, this is a really interesting cartridge right here. I came across this online. Star Soldiers Vanishing Earth. And it's not an actual, this is a Japanese copy, but it's a sample cartridge. And I looked online to see if I can get information on it. And there is really no information on this. And I have not seen one since. This is the only one I've ever found. So this is like some sort of sample cartridge for what, I don't know. I guess it might be, it seems like it's the full game. But it's an actual sample cartridge from the developer or publisher. And it's really weird. As soon as I saw that, I like snatched it up real quick because I was confused on what this is. But it's a pretty cool shooter on the N64. And then we have a blue cartridge of a really, really crappy, bad wrestling game. WCW Backstage Assault. Then we have a Ridge Racer 64. This game is actually really underrated. It's actually really, really good. Really awesome racing game on the N64. And we have a few more games left. And let's see what we have here. Excuse me. We have War Gods. Midway game for the N64, and I don't know exactly what this is, to be honest. is rated M for mature. One of these days we're going to have to pop it in and try it out. And then we have Wipeout 64. And then we have Super B Daemon Battle Phoenix 64. I believe this might be some sort of fighting game. I'm not exactly sure. I don't quite remember what this game's about. But it is a Japanese game. And we have a couple more cartridges left here. We have Wave Racer for the N64. And we have WWF Attitude. These games were actually pretty good. Excuse me. The Warzone and Attitude, I think I kind of liked them better on the PlayStation. But there is actually better weapon damage on the N64 version. Of course, the graphics look better also. And then we have Quake for the N64. And the N64, you can't really go wrong with buying first-person shooter games. There's plenty of decent first-person shooter ports. Hexing, Quake, Doom. Well, Doom 64 is its own game. It's actually pretty good. And then we have Quake 2. Pretty different from the PC version, but still fun to play. And that would be my N64 collection right there. You guys pretty much seen it all. And maybe that will be the thumbnail right there. So don't forget to give a thumbs up and comment down below and list your N64 collection. I'm curious to know what you guys have. Alright, if you don't currently have an N64, what was your previous favorite N64 game to play? And again, give a thumbs up, comment down below, and then let me know what you think.